podcast, episode 13, and I wrote a bunch of interesting posts and then I posted it from my podcast. I kind of did a summary of my podcast in 6 posts because I spoke about a lot. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it onto 6 posts so it's just short form, easier to digest, and then you can just read it much easily. Alright, so letting go of cheap dopamine addiction, being disciplined, allowing in real dopamine, learning to pause and rest at homeostasis, understanding the difference between needy seeking energy and allowing seeing energy. So the cheap dopamine and the being disciplined and the real dopamine, that's a real one, okay? Because having an energy that you always want to need cheap dopamine is kind of feeling like you're an addict. So for a lot of my life, I was feeling like I'm an addict trying to seek something more out of life, when in reality, what I had to do is pause and pivot so I'm not constantly trying to grasp, because that energy is really depleting and it's draining, okay? So for a long time, I'm learning that I'm literally a recovering addict of cheap dopamine, of constantly thinking that there is beauty in chaos, but there is no beauty in chaos. There's only beauty in stability, in calm, in routine, in ritual, in things that I've actually planned out for the day versus having an impulsive way of living my life. And I'm slowly learning to not be impulsive. And let me tell you, every day I'm struggling with this feeling of not being impulsive and just taking these impulsive, cheap dopamine actions that what will think it will bring me happiness, but in the long run, it's just going to deplete me way, way down. So I'm learning not to be impulsive. And I also find when I'm not being impulsive, that means that I'm not going to have a negative self-talk afterwards, and I'm not going to feel like I'm getting an addiction to something. So for a lot of my life, I felt like I was an addict to this cheap dopamine energy that I had inside of me, but thank God, thanks to neuroplasticity and me understanding myself, I am choosing to pause. And if that were to be physically sit down and give myself 5 seconds and rewire myself and say, I'm gonna be okay. I'm not gonna feed into these negative thoughts that I'm having about myself. And I'm going to choose to pause and say, I'm enough in this moment, instead of thinking I need to change a part of me. That's so toxic, I'm just saying. Because oftentimes, literally what I'm learning these days is that we really gotta understand that we have to not think that we aren't enough the way we are. And sometimes this may sound like a paradox in a sense, I would say, but that we are unlearning what we are learning while learning it, okay? So I'm unlearning while learning, because I'm unlearning what I learned and trying to relearn new things. So rewiring my subconscious. First of all, letting go of limiting subconscious beliefs in order to then recreate my conscious belief system, and then have that create my reality, versus having these subconscious hindering beliefs that are stifled in my body that I don't even know are there, and just acting like I don't even know, not even conscious of my decisions, and I'm not about that. All right, let me read another one of the 6 posts that I posted last night. So, this could be an interesting one to talk about. Okay, so this is one of the posts, and I wrote, doing foundation of a house is different than doing foundation of a skyscraper. Okay, so there's a lot to this, spiritually speaking. Physically speaking, for sure, but I would say spiritually speaking, there's a lot to this because, for example, when a person, I would say when like someone in the working industry of building houses, contractors, if they were to build a house, the foundation of the house is going to be very different than the foundation of a skyscraper. And the foundation of a house is going to take maybe 6 months to do, depending on if they're having a really big basement, or just depending on what type of foundation. If it's on a mountain, they will have to do much more work in it. And if it is a skyscraper, so the foundation is going to take many years, I would say. There's actually one that they're middle of building in LA. It's on like Santa Monica and Melrose area, and the foundation of that skyscraper is so deep. Let me tell you, it's insane. It's like, it's crazy. If you're in LA, you have to go check it out. That foundation is insane of that skyscraper. It's gonna be at least like honestly, I don't even know how tall that building is gonna be. I can't put a number on it because I can't even because I'm not gonna just like guess what they're doing, to be perfectly honest, but it's gonna be a huge skyscraper. And let me tell you, that foundation, I think they've been working on that for already over maybe 2 years now, and it looks like they're still gonna take a long time to work on it. So foundation of a skyscraper takes way longer. So for example, you don't even see the building yet for many years later. So if you're trying to build something in your life, are you trying to build a house, or are you trying to build a skyscraper within yourself, spiritually speaking? So what type of foundation are you trying to build? Are you trying to build a little foundation, or a foundation just for a basement, or are you trying to build a huge skyscraper foundation? So these are good questions to just ask yourself. And after I journaled, I came up with this like analogy. I don't even know why. I used to just, I don't know, it's just cool. Writing just makes me come up with these cool concepts. And once I came up with that, I'm like, that's super cool. And then I realized that also demolition day takes 1 day or so, right? To demolish something. So it's a cool concept to think about that also. And not from like a eerie kind of place, but more from a place where that you can take 1 day to rewire your subconscious brain. In a sense, if you really just go all in and really decide, like make that decision and realize, I'm gonna demolish these subconscious hindering beliefs right now. All right, take a tractor. I could take you for a ride on my big green tractor. All right, but really, just take a tractor, demolish all your limiting subconscious beliefs, because demolition day takes like 1 day or so. And maybe 2 days, and then you gotta pick up the rubbish. So maybe like 4 or 5 days. I'll give you some slack. I'll cut you some slack, and I'll cut myself some slack too when I slip up. Okay, but once you've demolished your subconscious beliefs, then just make the decision. Am I trying to build a house of a foundation or a skyscraper foundation? And personally, I'm choosing skyscraper foundation. So I don't see the results for a long time. And I think, you don't see the results for a long time, but I'd rather build an awesome, amazing foundation for myself than a little house foundation and start seeing results already just for no real reason. Like kind of like a one-hit wonder for music. Like, that's cool and all, but oftentimes that doesn't really see a gradual success. Usually there's a big fall and decrease in dopamine with those type of successes. So obviously there are exceptions to the rule, but there's just a beauty to a slow, gradual, calm, steady place of growth and real dopamine. So yeah, I definitely highly suggest you can just think about these cool concepts of demolishing your subconscious limiting beliefs, choosing how many days you're going to take to demolish those subconscious beliefs. Once you have chosen it, make sure you have someone come and pick up that rubbish of your subconscious limiting beliefs. And once it's gone, start building, all right? Choose if you're going to build a skyscraper foundation or a house foundation. Because a house foundation you're going to see sooner, but you're not going to see as much high success later on down the road. But if you build a skyscraper foundation, it's going to take many years to build a foundation, but slowly, you're going to see results one day, and those results are going to be really cool. So yeah, just saying. Hard work, deep hard work, but honestly, I'll take it over anything because they already picked up my rubbish, so I already demolished my subconscious hindering beliefs. There's nothing left, and I'm starting from scratch here. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.